So my name is Meredith. I've been working in marketing for over a decade. So my specialty is product marketing. I've worked at Disney, the Gap, EA, launching mobile applications and launched dozens of apps and features. And I moved into Web3 about 2 years ago, where I led marketing at LivePair at the protocol. I switched into Web3 because of the promise of decentralization for all people. And I recently started my own company, M3I, to support startups to grow the ecosystem and their projects. So we're all here because we believe in decentralization and the power of NFTs. And there's been a lot of conversations around, how they'll impact gaming and ticketing and brands. And in this session, I'm talking about NFTs and how they could be used to preserve and verify a moment, which I think is a huge potential opportunity. So looking at society today, like a few things I want to point out. There's kind of a proliferation of fake news and misinformation. AI and deep fakes are, have been around for a bit and definitely have more opportunity to be more pervasive in the near term. And there's also this persistence of beliefs that we just have as humans, and it's kind of something that makes us up. So with fake news and misinformation, for example, how significant this can be is even, present in the Dominion lawsuit that's coming up, that's just started. So they're suing Fox News for $1.6 billion, right, when it was known that it was false information being shared. With AI and deep fakes, how many people caught the Pope and the puffer? Everybody see that one, right? So that one really captured our imagination, and it was just kind of like we see these in our streams, and we see that image, and it kind of sticks with us, and it's something like fun, notable, but we don't really have a lot of precedent, so we're not questioning these images that are just coming to our screens. And then the next thing I want to just point out is the persistence of beliefs, right? So for example, one that always sticks to me is when I was growing up and you would just hear like, oh, MSG is not good for you. Like, has anyone heard that? Yes, right? So it's actually a false belief, right? So in the 60s, someone wrote a letter to the New England Journal of Medicine, and it was his opinion, hey, I didn't feel good after consuming Chinese food with MSG. And then the New York Times picked it up, made it a story. Like a decade or so later, there was a news story on 60 Minutes, right? And it was really just one inaccurate piece of information that had just persisted over time. And so I think there's, so much misinformation and like polarization in beliefs that if we look at, how news and content's being created, even if we see something like the Pope and the puffer, and it's like, oh, that's interesting, probably much fewer people actually see the correction of, hey, it was AI generated, right? And so we kind of get stuck with these beliefs over time. And so what I really see is like this potential of combining blockchain and AI. So there's been some history, or a short history of NFTs capturing real-time events, right, from live streams or images, or even the Bernie Sanders tweet from the 2021 inauguration that was sold at auction for over $100,000. So there is some precedence of capturing real moments with NFTs so far. And I think with blockchain and AI, there's a lot of potential for identifying deep fakes and also kind of creating, verified news that can be, or verified events that can be locked in the blockchain. And so like one concept there is kind of crowdsourcing, images and video that an AI algorithm can, cross-verify, and part of that could be including geotag metadata and timestamp metadata. But then it's more than more learning sets for models to be created and verify content off of. And then when something is verified, it can be locked into the blockchain. And I think historically this is nothing new, right? You have history books in different regions tell different stories. But I think, as technology evolves and, there's ongoing issues with misinformation, we really need technology to evolve to also become a solution for this, becoming more pervasive. And so, yeah, so I would say, and even a part of that is the expansion of NFTs right now. There's a small number of people creating NFTs, and the creator economy in Web 2 is over 50 million creators, right? And so as the technology becomes more accessible, we'll have more content creators. Everyone can be a content creator. And as AI generative tools make it easier to create information or like collaborate on things, there's just going to be a lot of barriers that will be broken down, so more people can contribute in creating this real content and contributing to these databases to prove the veracity of certain moments in history or things that are happening. So in conclusion, there's been a lot about AI recently, just coming into our presence. It's been around for some time, and there's definitely been warnings for some time. But I think this is just another area where we can look at the positive potential aspect, but always be aware that that you're always going to have these nefarious characters. Always look at how they can take advantage using the same tools. So I think it's about being aware of kind of the crisis effects that we're in now, and how to also leverage these technologies to, create verified information on the blockchain that can be referenceable in the future. That's kind of all I have for today. Thank you for sitting in on this conversation.